Did you know that nothing about pyramid building has ever been truly solved? For thousands of years, humanity has gazed up at these immense structures and wondered, why were they built and how? From pharaohs to pre-Islamic empires, the answer seems far more complex than just a tomb. Prepare yourself for a journey into history, architecture, and deep human belief. Take a moment to just consider the sheer scope of these structures. We're talking about mountains of stone, designed by hands from millennia ago. How did they even start? The journey begins deep within quarries, far from any civilized center, where teams painstakingly extracted millions of tons of limestone blocks. These weren't small pieces. We are discussing massive, multi-ton slabs requiring unimaginable human effort simply to cleave them from the bedrock. Then came the logistical nightmare, moving everything. Picture specialized transport sledges, dragged, pushed, perhaps lubricated by water, across arid ground, hauling these monumental weights over dozens of miles. The people who achieved this mastery were not just laborers. They were incredible engineers and brilliant managers whose knowledge rivals anything we possess today. They navigated complex supply chains without wheels in the way modern world knows them. It's a testament to sheer communal will, turning impossible material science into one of history's most persistent mysteries. But while the initial impulse is to view these towering structures as nothing more than elaborate burial vaults for pharaohs, that story, frankly, only tells half the tale. Archaeologists are now pointing to evidence suggesting their purpose was far grander and profoundly spiritual. Several key pyramids were meticulously aligned with celestial events, functioning less like tombs and more like colossal astronomical observatories. Consider the precise orientation of structures at Giza. They often align perfectly with the solstices or certain significant star risings, a sophisticated feat that required immense mathematical knowledge. This suggests power wasn't derived solely from royal bloodlines, but also from divine scientific understanding. These centers were physical manifestations of cosmic order, points where Earth met sky and religion intersected with advanced astronomy. Instead of merely housing a mummy, these colossal complexes likely served as pilgrimage destinations, massive temples that facilitated rituals connecting the ruler directly to the celestial cycles. In essence, they were living diagrams of the universe, designed to remind every visitor just how powerful and how divine the ruling class believed itself to be. But if we think of them merely as giant tombs, we are missing the central, spiritual truth. For the people who built these structures, the pyramids were never just burial sites. They were magnificent, meticulously engineered stairways leading straight up into the heavens. The entire premise was rooted in connecting the unsteady mortal world with the stable, eternal domain of the gods. Imagine carrying that profound belief for thousands of years, that a mountain-shaped rock formed the very path to immortality. This is visible perhaps nowhere more powerfully than in ancient Egypt, where pharaohs were not simply kings. They were living god-kings meant to shepherd the transition between realms. For rulers like Khufu during the Fourth Dynasty, building such a structure was an act of divine engineering itself. It ensured his physical ascension into the starry eternal life. They believed that this monumental geometry functioned as a cosmic portal, allowing their divine essence to safely traverse the dangerous passage from Earth to the afterlife deities above. Ultimately, these pyramids weren't just stone. They were humanity's most ambitious statement of belief, pointing upward and declaring the unwavering connection between man and the infinite gods. But what truly baffled modern engineers is not just the immense labor, but the perfect mathematical precision inherent in these structures. Consider the alignment. Nearly every major capstone is oriented within fractions of a degree of true north, an accuracy that speaks to a profound understanding of celestial mechanics. They didn't rely on modern compasses. Instead, scholars believe they utilized baseline observations combined with sophisticated techniques like water-leveling trenches and plumb bobs to achieve impossible grades of straightness. Were these builders masters of geometry as we understand it today, or did they possess an advanced knowledge, a system perhaps lost after the decline of their civilization? Some theories even suggest that the pyramids relate not just to astronomy, but to fundamental mathematical constants, linking human architectural endeavor directly to cosmic ratios like pi itself. It challenges us to rethink the very definition of primitive tools, convincing many that these builders weren't simply strong laborers, but dedicated geometric savants. The image of vast armies of enslaved people dragging giant stones is one that persists in pop culture, but the reality faced a much more organized and skilled workforce. Archaeological evidence suggests that the builders were not slaves. They were seasonal laborers, conscripted farmers, and quarrymen who played a vital role in Egyptian society. Think less forced misery, and more incredibly sophisticated industrial project. These men lived near the construction sites, thriving on state-provided sustenance, a diet primarily consisting of beer, bread, and cuts of meat like ox and goat. We've found bakeries, butchery areas, and even dedicated medical facilities at sites like Giza, indicating a structured community life outside of mere toil. It was less about brute strength and more about engineering knowledge, logistics, and the incredible collective effort required to feed thousands of workers every day for years on end. Their labor speaks not to simple bondage, but to an advanced command economy that successfully marshaled tens of thousands of skilled hands capable of manipulating massive blocks with professional tools and immense discipline. But if we think pyramids are just something Egyptian royalty built for tombs, we are missing half the story of human ingenuity. Across oceans, civilizations took the concept and adapted it into uniquely local forms. Look at Mesoamerica, where you find incredible examples like the stepped platforms of the Maya or the massive structures erected by the Aztecs. Instead of subterranean burial chambers, these pyramids often served as monumental temple centers, sacred places dedicated to ruling deities and rites connecting earth and sky. For instance, the famous pyramid complex at Teotihuacan wasn't just a structure. It was an astronomical calendar carved in stone, built according to celestial cycles. These varied shapes, some square, some stepped, some circular, tell us that while the architecture changed dramatically, the universal purpose remained constant. They were physical anchors for humanity's spiritual understanding of time and power. They all point toward a common belief system, that elevating monumental structures was the best way to negotiate with the cosmos itself. But when we look closer at the massive alignment of stones, it becomes apparent that these pyramids were far more than just grand burial markers. They functioned as sophisticated cosmic clocks. Think of them less like mausoleums and more like monumental astronomical instruments designed to track the rhythm of life itself. The precise orientation of structures in sites like Giza frequently lines up with pivotal solar events, particularly the solstices and equinoxes. This wasn't merely academic curiosity. Knowing when the sun stood at its highest or lowest point dictated everything, when the Nile flood would peak and thus, when to plant the crucial staple crops. The ability of ancient priests to predict these celestial cycles allowed them to govern not just the king, but the agricultural calendar that kept millions alive through prediction, festival, and ritual. These architectural feats were enduring declarations, a powerful statement confirming humanity's deep-seated belief in cyclical time, where earthly life was inseparable from the predictable journey of the stars overhead. And so we arrive at the end of our journey through Giza, Teotihuacan, and Ur. We can examine the logistics, the millions of tons of limestone quarried, the seasonal shifts that defined worker life along the Nile, the architectural ingenuity displayed by cultures spanning millennia. Yet, despite all the archaeological evidence gathered for historians like Zahi Hawass and dedicated scholars from today, a fundamental question remains unanswered. Why? While we know how they built these colossal structures, understanding their deepest purpose, beyond mere burial sites, remains shrouded in profound mystery. Perhaps it was political propaganda designed to legitimize pharaonic divine right. Perhaps it served as radical astronomical timekeepers. Or maybe they were truly attempts to connect the mortal realm with the gods of the solar cycle. Regardless of the single correct answer, one thing is undeniable. These monumental undertakings forced imaginations across millennia and continue to fuel human curiosity today. The pyramids are not just stone. They are silent dialogues from the past, whispers that continually challenge our understanding of ancient humanity. Whether they were temples to the sun, cosmic clocks, or literal vehicles for the soul, the pyramids force us to rethink the limits of early human potential. They stand as profound silent testaments not just to incredible engineering, but to the depth and unwavering durability of belief itself.